Hey guys, welcome back to our farm. So today we're gonna move these two round pens. Technically it's one big round pen that we separated and made into two smaller round pens for our yearling Mustangs. So we are moving these up here for training purposes because we have a horse here for training and for us to help the owner rehome it. So we're going to be using it for her, and then I have a horse I'm picking up tomorrow that I'm going to be working with and training to rehome as well, which is something we offer here. We bring in horses that need some time put on them or retraining or rehoming, and I don't believe in putting them in the market as in the sale barns. Some of the sale barns end up being meat barns, and you can find some good horses at the sale barn, but you find a lot of problems too. So that's how River came to us. He was heading for the sale barn, and I didn't want him end up in the meat market because he was an older, untouched horse. Although he's beautiful, he has a lot of work ahead of him. Probably gonna be a lot of wind today because it's a breezy day, but we're gonna be moving these. They're already starting, and we'll show you guys the process of putting our round pen back up so we can be doing a lot of groundwork, foundation work, getting these horses back in a good mental state before we post them to sell. We have quite a few that we're trying to sell at the moment. None are my personal horses yet. The one that's coming tomorrow I am purchasing, so she will be mine. But everybody else that I have talked about are not my horses. They're people that are asking us to help them do some work and resell them. But the one that's coming tomorrow will be mine. Thank you. And I'm going to sell her as a good project. But my goal is to make sure she finds a good home. Not just any home, but a good home. I feel like that's my due diligence as a person, as a equestrian, as a horseman, is to make sure the horses find the right fit for them, where they're not going to just end up in the market and people are just going to push them around. So here we go, guys. So our gate needs some welding. I've had this round pen probably about 8 years, and I have moved it quite a bit. We've had it in different areas of the barn or the farm, but for what worked at the time. We've used it for Mustangs, for training, for teaching youngsters and beginner adults to ride. We've just done a lot with this round pen. And it has seen its better days, but it's still a really good round pen. But our gate does need some loving. It's starting to, the rust has gotten to it, which has caused it to come loose at the bottom, but it still works just fine. So one of the reasons why our round pen is back here, the time of the year that we get our Mustangs, it's not as overgrown as this, but it offers shade and some shelter the way the trees just come over. So we will move our round pens to the back of the arena so that these trees can offer shade and shelter all the way down depending on where we put it at. So once we have Mustangs here, if they're from the wild, our main goal is to get them gentled and tamed enough where we can touch them and halter them and lead them, and then we can get them out of the round pen and the barn and the pasture, the different areas they can be where they'd be happier. This is temporary for them, but right now, because of the time of the year, all this is really overgrown. But the time of the year that we get our Mustangs, this is not overgrown, and all of these trees provide a really nice shade and shelter for them, kind of like right here. Because this is August, we usually get them in May. This is very different looking than when it is when we bring them home. But now it's time to move our round pen here, which is the reason why we don't leave it here, is because there is no shade and shelter for the Mustangs when we get them. So we move it around to accommodate what we need it for. I like for my round pens to be as big enough as possible where we can canter in them. So if we're teaching young horses or people to get comfortable cantering, or teaching the horses to get comfortable cantering, I don't like a small round pen. I think my round pen's at least 15 panels. This one's a little less because we're using 2 panels somewhere else. So this one will be about 13 panels, I believe. I'll let you know at the end. But we would like for them to be able to walk, trot, and canter comfortably in the round pen. It's not a small round pen where you can only walk or trot, because I have a lot of students that need to get more comfortable with cantering and not necessarily guiding as a canter, just to get in the feel of it, because they get a lot of anxiety when they go faster. And then the young horses that we work with, older horses that we work with, horses that need work, it's good to put them in an area with walls so you have a little more security as you're working them. So I'm trying out the round pen with Monty. He's doing so good. Sweet Monty. Let's try out our round pen, buddy. Good boy. So this is officially my first time on Monty's back. Monty's been with us for, I believe, 2 years, 2 or 3 years now. Larissa broke him and has been working with him. I have not been on him yet, so this is my first time. But he's grown a lot too, because when he came to us, he was really small. We let him grow. So I feel confident with my size and him that I can be on him without causing any kind of damage or too much weight on him. He's really a big horse and he's growing still because he's still a young guy. I believe he came to us as a yearling. So he's 3 or 4 now. And his workouts have been extremely light and just casual pony rides, small rides, nothing big, nothing heavy. So now that he's getting a little older, getting more mature, we're adding a little bit extra to him to see how he handles everything, and if one day he'll be able to really enter the lesson program or be available to other people to ride. It's pretty breezy today, so I apologize for the wind. So we're just gonna truck around and kind of hang out. And then we have our paint mare here that's for here for Larissa to train, put some ride time on and sell, or try to help sell. The market's kind of flooded right now, so we're gonna do our best to help out this family with riding her, putting a little more training and time on her, and trying to find her the perfect home. Monty does ride bitless so far. He's never had a bit in his mouth yet. We ride him in a halter and he does really well. We may eventually put a bit in his mouth to make him a little more versatile, but at the moment he does well like this, so we're going to continue what we're doing. So this mare here is looking for a good home. She's a nice mare. The family she's with is just not a good fit. And so she's just needing some saddle time to kind of get back in the swing of things, and some exercise, because she's literally been like a pasture ornament, eating hay and just kind of hanging out for a while. And then tomorrow we'll be bringing the other horse home to get her started as well. Even though Monty is broke to ride, he's still very green and needs a lot of saddle time and exercise and just learning. He needs to be taught neck pressure, neck reining, leg pressure. It's time to start really, now that, I mean, he's so immature. Come on. And it's time to start kind of asking a little more of him. Not too much where it blows his brain, where he don't want to do what we're doing, but just kind of asking him to do a little bit more than what he has been mentally, whether it's moving off the leg or the neck pressure, and just kind of getting out here and working in the arena. But he's such a good fella. We have taken him to the obstacle course and rode him, and he did really good. We have trail rode him, making everything really light and enjoyable, and we'll continue to make everything light and enjoyable, but add a little extra training, give him a little more buttons now that he's getting a little more mature and learning his balance better. Are you watching? So what the mare is doing, the paint mare in the round pen, is she's really close to the panels and the saddle. See it, the stirrup is hitting the panels. It's not her hitting it. She's hitting every panel with that saddle, which is another reason why we don't use our best tack when working with horses, like if we're training horses, because of that. I would really hate for her to be tearing up our best tack when we have some not as expensive tack for her. I mean, I don't want her to beat it up, but it's not as bad if she hit that stirrup versus our really nice saddles. It just takes time and patience. That's okay. At least she's not panicking as she's hitting the panels. She's just hitting them, and it's the stirrup hitting them, not her body. And Monty's like, what is she doing? No, she's gonna hit this side too. So a lot of that will get better the more that she is stretched and exercised, because I don't know if you can see it from here, but she is keeping her head tilted to the outside depending on which direction she's going, because her neck is just stiff. She's just stiff. She's getting back into the swing of things. So her muscle tone is stiff, her neck is stiff. Everything is just out of shape. She's tilting her head to the outside this direction too, which is just making everything off for her. The more that she's ridden, the more that she has worked and exercised, not necessarily work, but exercised and stretched, the better she's gonna feel and the easier it is gonna be for her. And then she'll be back on track in no time. Like I said, she's been standing in the pasture for a while. So it's just gonna take some time to get her ready for her new home. Just get her built back up. Hitting every panel. So Larissa is not coming near her with that lead rope. She's just kind of using that as an extension of her arm to push her out. Never ever, oh, that was a good turn, I guess what she wanted it. Never ever do we hit them with it. But just uses that to help encourage her to go without being in a dangerous position. She's just used to being a pasture ornament, so it's going to take a little bit to get her back into a good mental state. And Monty's like, what is going on? He's just staring every time she hits a panel. And of course, Pixel is very interested in what's happening too. Pixel! What are you doing?